This guy has been one of the top male porn stars of the last several decades. He's been doing it a while. He's very, very good at what he does. I don't mean to make you sound old, Evan, but you've been doing. You're a veteran. I think that's fair to say. Evan Stone, ladies and gentlemen,
Woo-hoo.
joining us. Evan, thanks for being here, my man.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. It's
very
like, exciting.
You live like right down the road. It's like a little stroll for you. Did you walk over here?
As a matter of fact, no, I had to get inside this really secure, airproof van to get here.
Really?
Yeah, and they gagged me with like a duct tape,
Whoa.
which I thought was kind of weird because I thought it should be a mask.
Listen, throughout your career, you've gagged a lot of people.
Well, that's because this is our underground bunker.
This is the underground bunker somewhere in Florida.
So, Evan, how are you holding up during this coronavirus pandemic?
Well, I've had to limit my my orgies to 5 or less. That has been a big, comeback. And then, of course, there's the hot tub and all the other, stuff that, I've self-prescribed myself for, the healing of the pandemic that's never coming.
So I have to give you a funny story. Our friend of the show and contributor, Chris Wynn, who's sitting over there, we're in his home. We go to the AVN Porn Awards a few years ago, and I'm taking pictures with all these hot women everywhere. I must have taken 40 or 50 pictures, right? He hadn't taken a picture in a while, and then he's like, "Bro, you know who that is? That's Evan Stone." And, of course, I know who you are. He got a little more excited than I did. But so he's taking pictures with you, and I just showed you one of the pictures. He's all, like, gung-ho, And then he looks at me and he goes, "Bro, this is going to hurt my credibility. You've taken 40 or 50 pictures with chicks. That's the only picture I've taken here in 2 hours." Honestly, he was so excited to see you. Do you get that from straight men?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I go on tour with Katie Morgan. Usually we...
Who's also your girlfriend.
Right. And so...
You lucky bastard.
I know, right? Dipping both ends. So... And usually you send somebody with her, to be security, carry your bags and stuff like that. But, the clubs found out that we were dating. Bring Evan, we'll pay him to come out there, which is great, Now we're not paying someone. We're both getting paid. So I go out there, and it's the whole club. They're all around me. I mean, obviously the hardcore fans are standing in her line, to get pictures and all this other stuff. And all the titty dancers are just like, what the heck is going on here?
I absolutely
Everybody
love that.
has to have a drink with Evan Stone in the bar.
Of course. But I would imagine this coronavirus pandemic, it's hurting everybody, right? Because in your industry, obviously you're not, I would assume you're not filming, right?
We shut down before.
Yeah. So this is hurting all the local business. It's hurting everybody. Let's just be honest about it. But
somebody's making money.
Well,
who's making money?
Well, we'll get to that. But
the hospitals.
I mean, do you feel like in your industry are people positive? Saying, all right, we'll get back on track soon enough, or like what's the take of that?
Here, the progression of people asked me a long time ago where I thought the progression of the adult industry was going, and we were shooting film at that time. Then we went on to digital, and then of course the big at the award show, all the shows were were Wicked, and all the companies themselves had the biggest booth, and now it's all these cam companies, and so the progression has been. Some people are still doing the adult, some people are doing the cam thing, and there's been a line. But now, the people that are doing adult, they can't do adult right now. And so they're actually going over and where the other companies we like after them, hey, come cam for me? They're like,
right.
That's all right, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
Now they're all getting to it. So that's what everybody's like camming right now.
So I have to ask you this, and by the way, I love it. We bust each other's balls on Facebook, and it's great. I love it because we talk.
Wait,
about,
that's you?
That's me. Yeah, that's me. We talk on Facebook, and I've name called. You called me a tool, and I'm laughing.
I said tool. I didn't say you were a tool. I just said tool, and you guys fell for that.
No,
stuff.
but I love it because we make fun of each other, and I love that about you.
It's fun. That's never changed.
It's fun.
Oh, yes,
it's fun, and it's not personal because I love you.
Well,
but in a very heterosexual way, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't get the
other
wrong
stuff's
idea.
wigs.
Yes,
You're getting a little close to Evan, Brian.
All right,
getting a little expensive.
I have to ask Evan this question, and it's the point I make with Evan all the time. Obviously, you support the Republican Party. Obviously, you're in support of the president, which is fine. But I guess the question I always wanted to ask you was, in person, was. You do realize if conservatives, many on the alt-right, were running the country, you would have never have had a career in the adult entertainment industry.
You say that, but the Constitution stops them from doing that. They say they want to do all this stuff, but they don't do it.
Well, they in a way, they can't.
Exactly, they can't do it.
I don't disagree with you.
Yes.
But still, you have to admit to me that many on the alt-right are anti-porn, anti-strip clubs. I mean, I would say most of the right.
Who cares? I don't care. It's their opinion.
Most of the right is wrong.
I know, but it doesn't matter. I mean, that's their opinion. You're willing to have your opinion. But still not going to change the Constitution and the rules and the laws that the whole country is presented under.
I understand that, but when you look at most of the governors that are Republicans in certain states, and from what I've noticed, they're not as liberal as other states. You're not going to see as many strip clubs. They don't want the porn industry coming to their city. You have to at least give me that.
Which state is that?
Well, I'm just speaking in general terms here, but I mean, I guess the point
I think he's talking about Maine.
Listen, it's the same point I make if you are a homosexual, right? Now, there are people that I talk to that are homosexuals that are Republicans, and I say to myself, you do realize that the majority of Republicans are anti-gay, anti-gay marriage, homophobic as far as I'm concerned. So I asked them I'm not singling you out. I asked them that same question that I asked you. Doesn't it bother you that you're in the party of those who probably don't appreciate what you have done and what you still do for a living?
Why do you say the majority of Republicans all believe that?
If you took 1,000 Republicans, 100 Republicans, I guarantee you more than 50%.
In your hypothetical.
Well, I haven't talked to one Republican that is pro-porn.
No, what I'm saying is, like, you're saying there's a majority. How are you coming to this conclusion? There's a majority of Republicans
in my life,
feel that way.
I'm 40 years old. I've never spoken.
So this is your individual assumption that all these Republicans feel this, our majority feel the way that you present them.
Is it your opinion that more than 50% of Republicans are absolutely pro-porn and pro-strip clubs? I've never spoken to anybody, one evangelical on the right that has been for that. I've never spoken to one Republican that was pro-porn. I never in my life. So, yeah, I guess I am talking about my experiences. I see Republicans on TV all the time.
I'm Republican, Brian.
I see Republicans.
I'm pro-porn.
Calm down. Don't even look at him. Don't even look at him.
I didn't say every Republican. I watch TV all the time. I mean, look at what they did to Larry Flint. That's a perfect example.
What did they do to Larry Flint?
They tried to take him down.
Did they?
Well, he's in a wheelchair.
Okay, well, that government didn't shoot him.
The government didn't shoot him, but a whack job on the right shot him.
Okay, well, and there's a lot of whack jobs on the left that have shot people also.
There are.
There are a lot of whack jobs out there. However, he succeeded in defending himself with the Constitution.
He went through hell to do it.
Doesn't matter. He
had a pretty
succeeded.
damn good attorney.
They
Ed Norton's a great attorney.
I know, but whatever you say, what was the end? He won.
Yeah, but look at what the guy had
No,
to go
no,
through.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter
won.
when he went through the guy's
No,
in a
wait,
wheelchair.
well, we can go with that. Well, no, but I didn't shoot him. You didn't shoot him.
didn't
Those
say you
crazy
did.
people out there.
I didn't say you did.
Okay, because he got shot. Whose fault is that?
Well, first of all, he shouldn't have been in court to begin with. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He wouldn't have been in court to begin with if those on the right didn't go after him and try to censor him. That is my problem with people that censor. And let me be very clear on this. If you don't like a radio show, you could change the channel. If you don't like a television show, you can turn your TV off. If you don't like porn, nobody is forcing you to buy it. I don't like it when people interfere with my rights. Okay, it is my right. If I want to watch Evan Stone naked 24/7, I can do that. And I think there are a lot of people on the right that try to infringe on that. That's the only point I'm really trying to make here. When it comes to religion, I feel the exact same way.
No, the problem with what you're doing is you're taking the evangelical perspective, the extremist perspective, and you're applying it to every single Republican, even those that are closer to moderate. And that's just not the case at all. In fact, I would say that if you did a poll, if you polled 1,000 Republicans, but you included moderate Republicans,
let's talk about Evan's
which
poll.
there are a lot of them, you're probably looking at 77 to 23. 77% say yes, we support it because it doesn't affect our lives adversely, and 23% say no, we don't support it because we're evangelical or we're pro this, pro that. Evan, I wanted to ask you a question. You mentioned how people are cam girling right now, cam girling, cam guying. What about OnlyFans.com? OnlyFans is this new national phenomenon. Now that people are sitting at home, they're digesting more digital content than they ever have in their entire life. There is 3 million OnlyFans accounts created in the last month. First of all, do you have an OnlyFans account yourself? And do you think that right now, especially for single people, is America as horny as it's ever been before right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Even more so because you're locked up in your house. You see your wife all the time. You're not making it to the titty bar.
That's absolutely fair. All right, let's talk about your boy Donald Trump. I know this is you obviously support Donald Trump. I don't, and 95% of the reason why I don't like the guy is I think he's a scumbag. What he's
got an internal poll.
Well. It's just me. I'm just giving you the reason why I don't like the guy because of the way he's lived his life. I think he's a scam artist. I think the way he treats people, he goes after women based on looks on a regular basis. It was a few months ago. He went after Nancy Pelosi's dentures. He's done things like that before. The things he said about John McCain, I don't respect him because he's captured. The things he said about illegal immigrants. I mean, I can go on and on and on. That's why I don't like the president of the United States. What do you say to that?
You're entitled to your opinion.
Do you think Donald Trump's a good guy?
I like how his policies are working out. That's my opinion of this. I don't know the guy personally. You don't like him because of personal reason? That's up to you, man. I'm talking about what he campaigned on and what he's produced since then.
All right, let's go with that. I remember his biggest campaign slogan was, "We're going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it." How did that end up?
Well, let's see. Did the Democrats try to stop him or help him?
That's not what I asked you.
Hold on. Did the Democrats try to stop him or help him?
I don't think the Democrats tried to help him because I think it's
okay, so that's fine. Okay, so he was not able to complete the project. But he did get it started, though, yes?
Mexico's not paying for the wall.
Is the wall finished?
No.
Is his presidency finished?
No.
Okay, then we're still up there, aren't we?
But he said the first
when
thing-
it's over, then his presidency is over. Then you can come back and say, "Oh, he didn't have that happen." But right now, his presidency's still going. Perhaps his presidency will go on 4 more years.
You're a smart guy. You don't believe that. You think,
I
you think,
totally believe
You think
that.
he's going to build that wall and Mexico's going to pay for it?
Well,
You really,
I don't know.
truly believe that? Come
Well,
on,
the things that were said about the wall being, racist and all this other stuff.
That's like me saying you have a small penis. It's just
Well,
that's not true.
that's perspective. That's all perspective. I can show you some guys that make my penis look small, bro. All perspective.
Fair enough. All right, so you like some of his policies. I always ask Trump supporters this question, and I'm sure you'll give me a very eloquent answer. You're a smart guy. What has Donald Trump done that makes you love his policy so much? Give me some examples.
What has Donald Trump done?
What has he done in 3.5 years, policy-wise, that you say, wow, what a great job he's done?
Removed a lot of restrictions and improved the economy.
How?
How has the economy improved?
Yeah.
Record unemployment numbers.
But how?
But how did he do it?
Policy.
By his policies were removing restrictions on his business, on EPA restrictions that were altering business, and tax structure.
Are you willing to give Barack Obama
Zoning, taxes, and Dodd-Frank, which allowed banks to loan more money to small businesses.
So my opinion on it is this, Evan.
Yes.
I think that Barack Obama took over an absolute mess. I think he got us certainly going in the right direction. I think policy-wise, I don't think Donald Trump has done anything to screw that up as far as you mentioned, the economy and unemployment numbers, and I've given him credit for that. But I think Republicans out there want to give Trump all the credit for where we are with the economy, and I certainly would give some of that credit to Barack Obama. Do you think that's fair?
No.
Why?
He himself said the numbers were not achievable. He said this was the new. This was paraphrasing. He said this was the new norm, the economy, and we're going to proceed over the decline of America. Blah blah blah. He said these numbers were not achievable. He said these are the new numbers. He said this is it, right? But Trump said, and Trump campaigned on, this is not it. I can make this economy better, right? And he did so.
Mm-hmm. But when you look at where the numbers started when Obama took office, the unemployment numbers I'm specifically talking about now, and where they ended up when he left, you don't give him any credit for that
Okay,
at all?
the unemployment numbers, when they were calculated when he started, were they the same calculations when he ended his presidency?
What do you mean by calculations?
How they calculate?
Explain what you mean by
how
that.
they calculate the unemployment numbers?
So you're saying the numbers are askew?
I'm just asking. I'm asking you.
Well, I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out where you're going with this. You're saying that the numbers were not accurate, or they were askew, or they were misleading?
Even if they, I'm just saying that there's an option there that these numbers, if they were not calculated the same, then you would get different numbers. And the economy, in case anybody, I don't know anybody who went through the whole presidency of Obama who said, "Wow, this economy is looking great. This economy is looking better." And he inherited an
I heard
economy.
people say that the economy was turning around. I've heard people say that
Did
during
they?
the Obama. Absolutely, during the Obama. When from the day he took office, from the day he left office, there's no question. It's not debatable. The economy was in a better spot. We were in a better spot. What Trump took over was a far better situation than when Obama took over 8 years before. I mean, that's just a fact.
Well, yeah, he followed a recession. He followed the housing crisis.
Well, regardless of whether it was,
So
I'm just saying-
obviously, it wasn't difficult
Right.
for him to improve that. And
Well,
it went up and down. But at the end of Barack Obama's presidency, there was 43 million Americans on food stamps and welfare, Brian.
Okay, but I mean that doesn't change my opinion, and I guess it's what you said was that it's it's not difficult to turn it around. I would disagree with you. There are some presidents that have taken over horrible economies, and they were not able to turn it around. Obama was. Listen, I didn't vote for Barack Obama, Evan. You might be surprised to know that. I did not vote for Hillary Clinton either. But one thing I always say about Barack Obama is this, and I don't think this is debatable. I think he's a good husband. I think he's a good father. He seems to me to be a decent human being, a good man that didn't embarrass the country. Now, you can disagree with some of his policies. I don't think he did a good job as far as racial relations goes. He made some mistakes. He's done some things I didn't approve of. But I think he's a decent man. You had George W. Bush a few days ago put out a video just trying to bring people together. And I am not a George W. Bush guy. Ill-advised war. Yeah, and I know you're not either. We've talked about that. But he puts out this video saying he wants people to come together. And I actually thought it was a good video. Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter who you are. And then Donald Trump attacks him and says, where were you when I was impeached? And I'm thinking to myself, stop making it about yourself, you a-hole. Every single time Trump is in front of a camera, he tries to make it about himself. Evan, I respect your opinion when it comes to policy, and you gave me a good answer. But do you understand why I'm not a Donald Trump supporter? I think he is a bad human being, and he embarrasses the country.
Well, when I vote for a president, I don't wonder if he's a good husband or a good provider or takes care of his family like that, or I don't agree with him on some of the stuff he says or the way he says it. I want the guy to run the country. I want the guy to run the country, to be a bad butt.
Then why is it that so many Republicans still go after Bill Clinton for his sexcapades then, if that's the case?
What?
You hear Sean Hannity and people every day still bringing up Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky.
Bill Clinton lied to Congress.
You don't think Donald Trump has lied? He lies every day.
Well, no, that is your opinion of a lie. I tell you it's raining outside. You look outside and see it sprinkling, so you say it's not raining. Therefore, I'm a liar.
Well, let's go with that. Let's go with that. When Donald Trump brought up the disinfectants, which I thought was asinine on his part, and he was caught for showing his stupidity, in my opinion. And then, hold on, let me just pose the question. And then the next day he said, I was just being sarcastic. Can you look me in the eye and tell me that Donald Trump was not lying? You think he was being sarcastic? Didn't sound sarcastic to me. It was a serious conversation he was having with Dr. Birx.
Yeah. There was the conversation he had is like, what if we could do this? Maybe we could do this. There were what ifs, not maybes, and a bunch of other stuff.
So he was being sarcastic?
He was being sarcastic.
Watch the effort. Watch the effort.
He was being sarcastic. It's funny that the left only has a sense of humor when they're telling jokes.
See, I don't think anything's funny when you're doing well, this is my personal opinion. I don't think it's any time to tell a joke when you're doing a press conference and people are dying, a coronavirus press conference. People want to know where they're going to get their next paycheck from. People want to know when things are going to reopen. I don't think it's appropriate to make a joke, number one, and I don't think it was a joke. Nobody was laughing. The president wasn't laughing. Nobody in the room was laughing. Dr. Birx looked like she wanted to go and hide somewhere.
Well, what it was they had a private conversation outside of the press conference. He brought it up in the press conference, which is the same thing Mayor Carolyn Goodman did when she brought up the conversation she had with Jeremy Aguero, who we had on the show.
And how did that work out for her?
About Las Vegas possibly being a control group.
Right, let's talk about that.
It was the exact same situation.
I'm glad you brought that up. And by the way,
he made a mistake bringing that up, obviously.
And how did that work out for Carolyn Goodman bringing that up? But I want to talk we were talking a little bit off the air, and I said I would support Evan Stone for mayor of Las Vegas. The reason why I say it because I think he's a good guy, and I actually think he's a smart guy. We disagree a little bit on politics, and that's fine. But I like Evan.
And he's showing his political chops here.
So, Evan, I have to ask you this. Speaking of the mayor of Las Vegas.
Did he touch me? Did you see that?
I've touched you several times, by the way.
This was the only one I cared about.
I'm getting aroused. So
we're almost not practicing social distancing in a group of 10.
Evan, what did you make of Carolyn Goodman's interview with Anderson Cooper on CNN that went viral? What did you make of that? Put the microphone to your face. Did I stump you?
CNN.
I was thinking about it.
I know he's going to call him fake news. I'm just waiting for it to come.
I'm excited for it.
So what was the one question that stumped her?
I don't think she was stumped. I just think she answered some of the questions, in a ridiculous way. For example, bringing up the fact that she was thinking of using us as a case study, as guinea pigs, bringing up the fact that she wants everything to open up tomorrow, yet she has zero answers. Bringing up the fact that she is close friends with the mayor of L.A., and by the way, the mayor of L.A. has done a lot for testing, and then she said, that's not really my job. You can't make the argument that you want to open up everything else when you have no solutions. It's not your jurisdiction. And then Anderson Cooper asked her, are you going to be in the casinos if everything opened up tomorrow? She said, no, I don't gamble. I think she made herself look exactly. She made herself look very, very ignorant.
Forgot about that.
Listen, I'm friends with Oscar Goodman, so this is tough for me. I love Oscar. I've known him for, 15 years. Great guy. Extremely intelligent. Carolyn Goodman, I think she's a very nice person. I really do believe that. But she shouldn't be doing any more interviews. And she was on our show 2 days before that interview.
No, that's actually better than what you said 2 weeks ago, which was, I don't think she's a very intelligent person.
Well, I stand by that.
So I can appreciate that.
I stand by that. I'll say it again. I don't think she's extremely intelligent. Oscar's a very smart guy. I'm not going to sit here and not own my words, unlike the commander-in-chief. That's what I said. I think she showed her stupidity on that interview with Anderson Cooper. It's why it went viral. So those are just a few things.
Well, no, and that's exactly why it went viral. There's no other reason for anyone to watch CNN.
Right.
So
cheap shot.
Necessary.
I mean, like I said, the power of the mayor of this particular city, it's very limited. They pretty much sign the stuff that happens at the house, and then she cuts ribbons and stuff like that. She was ill prepared and was not speaking from any kind of authority to make these decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Now she should come out to say, "I have got an opinion about this," but if her opinion, if it was just an opinion, then she should have had more to say when the guy said, "Well, tell me about your opinion." She was like, "Well, I'm not going to answer your questions because
I'm not going to go down that hole."
I'm one of your fans. I was like,
she did do that.
She
but-
complimented him 2 or 3 times, and she tried not to answer those questions.
Yeah.
And he would not let her do it.
Yeah.
I mean, she tried very hard to get out of that interview without having those scathing comments.
I thought she was just going to drop down to her knees and pray. And pray.
Right, obviously.
Yes, obviously, because that's what all Republicans
You're thinking about one of your videos. That must be what you were just talking about. But this is a long-winded answer you're probably going to give me because it's a big. But I wanted to talk a little bit about Governor Sisolak. I wanted to talk about how you think he's handled this whole pandemic. We have to take a break. I think we got a couple more minutes. But let's start talking about Governor Sisolak. What are your thoughts on him? What are your thoughts of the way he handled this pandemic? What would you have done differently?
This is Nevada. I mean, the whole state. I mean, it's all predicated on gambling. The reason that we're here in the middle of the thing is because it is a place to go to. It is the public place. It is like that's the whole thing, right? Full of casinos, full of people, and all this other stuff. The guy has some difficult choices. I mean, especially when it comes to something like this. But the model they were given was this apocalyptic end all. Right, everyone's going to get sick. The hospital's going to be overrun. This is just going to be a crazy pandemic, and hundreds of thousands are going to die. Right, this is probably what they were told to get what kind of reaction that every state decided to go ahead and shut down. Now, a lot of these states, the reason they shut down and why they continue to shut down without even thinking about opening up, they're not in the same position as Nevada is in. Nevada survives on this. We're not making our money on Lake Mead. We have to have this revenue.
or income tax
or
sales tax
sales
for food.
tax, yeah.
Fair enough. I know we have
And
to
the porn tax. They're not even paying that.
Not yet.
Speaking of which, I don't know if people know this. As changing the subject, Evan Stone used to be a Chippendale dancer. Isn't that true?
That is true.
So if Carolyn Goodman showed up, would you give her a lap dance?
Oh, absolutely.
You would?
Oh, yeah.
Would you say anything to her?
Well, I mean, just probably slap her with my stuff. It's not really a speaking thing. It's more of a,
All right. So
Actions speak louder than words.
yeah, that is true.